Good morning. It's time to look at some freight, shall we? So stay tuned right after this. Ah, yes. Good morning. It is Wednesday, right? December 11th. Is that true? Is that right? Man, this year is flying by. It sure is. So, good morning. Hope all is well. Been kind of, I know, sorry I've been MIA. I'm going early because Jeff's got me watching the helm for a little bit, so I can't stay on here too long, but I figured we'd do a quick look at freight and all that. So let's see. Bonehead Truckers Metal. Good to see you in here, my friend. Let's remove that there. Yeah, speaking of metal, talked to our drummer yesterday, and hopefully we're going to start getting together and jamming soon at least. So there's that. But I'm wearing my Crowbar shirt underneath this light trucking shirt. It is cold. In these parts, so so I've been wearing my sweatshirt. Like, that's a big deal. Like, you're like, why are you talking about your sweatshirt? We came here to see freight. So anyways, we'll get into that. Dispatch has been kind of light this week. Have a couple of trucks out there running. One, I got to look for something specific, so the search is extremely narrow. And then the other one is already booked and loaded, and the other one's it's been loaded, and they're just on a multi-stop run. So had a good conversation with a few people yesterday. Gave some advice I thought might have been helpful for someone who's just getting ready to buy a truck and all that. So, and that's what I try to do. I try to help when I can and be encouraging when I can, but I'm also real with you too. If things don't look good for you, then I'm going to tell you. So a lot of people don't like that kind of honesty. So other than that, man, I hope all is well. I've been putting out I've been using the Opus Clips thing. I've been putting out a bunch of shorts, putting out a bunch of smaller videos, small clips from each of the live feeds. So I hope you guys like and give the thumbs up and all that to help the algorithms. We're just trying to take little stabs at everything. The OG channel has been kind of inactive. I put up a carnivore video, couple of, like around Thanksgiving, and I should probably do more on that channel, but I haven't quite decided where that direction of that channel goes. It's interesting. The most popular videos on that channel, besides the old couple of the old trucking ones, is the knife and holster videos. Like, so I don't know, it's weird. You got the knife and holster or gun channels claiming that they're being, shadow banned, and then that seems to be the only thing working on that channel. But anyways, hope you're all well. Speaking of which, I didn't talk to you over the weekend. I did go to the range and I shot a 22 long rifle for the first time, and that was pretty fun. No recoil. I was on target almost every single time, so that was kind of cool. Oh, wait, but you don't want to hear about that. You came here to hear your name said out loud and to look at freight. So cheap freight hauler, good morning. Hope all is well. Are you warm down there in the southbound Jay? Are you warm in the south? We're going to look at weather here in a minute. So good morning, rookie trucky. Hope rookie trucker, not rookie trucky. That sounds dumb. The rookie trucker, good morning. Hope all is well. Thank you for being a member. Cheap freight hauler, thank you for being a member. Let's see. Desidoki Pam, also a member. Good morning. It was a good conversation we had yesterday. Or the day before yesterday. Hope it helped. Probably didn't, but we'll see. See Gary Cook, good morning from Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's probably cold up there too, right? Is it snowing up there? We'll check the weather here in a minute. Bonehead Truckers is in the house. CDN, good morning, Steve. It has been the slowest ever since I started in 2008. Having the cold call, have not had to do that for years. That's interesting because from this perspective, I'm seeing some increase in volumes. So is it because of the year-end thing, or is it because people aren't shipping right now, or what's going on, man? What's going on? Brokers say the load has to be there before 6 a.m. or the plant will shut down. I arrived well before 6 a.m. only to get told we don't receive anything until 8. Gotta love trucking. Yeah, and that's a just-in-time thing. Look, I was picking up, or no, I was delivering in a place in Kansas City, and I get there, and my appointment was on the Raycon. It said 9 a.m., and I got there at like 7:30. And the guy looks at me and goes, "Man, you were supposed to have been here at 5 yesterday." I said, "Dude, I barely picked this load up at like 12 o'clock yesterday. It was a short run." And he goes, "Man, this broker, they flat out lie to these drivers to get them here on time. Da 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 da. So we'll try to get you unloaded." Well, they did, luckily, but I mean, it's communication, computers, and then like, oh, we got to have this there tomorrow. And I remember as a company driver, whenever we would do a spot load, there was a broker that was really harassing me. Of course, I was new and green and didn't realize the things that a lot of brokers did, especially in those days. And I called my dispatcher because the broker said this has got to be here like in an hour, and I was still like 120 miles out. And I was, the broker had me thinking that I was going to sit for a whole week if I was late on this load. And then I called my dispatcher. I'm like, "Hey, man, this is," and my dispatcher, "Relax. They're going to take you when you get there. It's okay." "Are you going to be there before 12? "Yes." "Okay, then you're fine." So I got there. It was like no urgency, nothing. They unloaded me, no problem. And I realized that the broker was just putting some spice in there so I would hurry up and stress out. So yeah, those tactics are out there, right? Those tactics are out there. Jerome Jones, good morning. Jose, good morning from Lakeland, Florida. 65 degrees here this morning, getting our high for the day before sunrise. Chief Freight Hauler, did you call broker to let them know the reality of the situation? Scorpion Trucker, what's up, man? Good morning from sunny Arizona. It's not sunny yet. It's only like 5 in the morning there, but it will be sunny. There is not a more cush job than being a meteorologist that lives in Phoenix. CDN, it's before 8, so no one's answering. I did get an automated email and text wanting an update. I expressed my displeasure through that. Yeah, I'm a yard hostler these days at one of the BB&S. Yeah, slow. I think everyone is to an extent. Well, it's interesting because I'm seeing increase in volumes, and we're going to go over the the freight market stuff here and all that. So when a broker puts urgency on a load, it's coming from their customer who forgot to order a truck earlier in the week. Well, that I understand, but I've had brokers lie to me flat out saying, for that urgency, right? It's kind of like a Convoy. You know what they used to do? Convoy used to, okay, your appointment at Dollar General was 6:30. And so you show up at 6:30 and they're like, the guard will argue, no, your appointment's at 7. Like, Convoy literally did a half an hour before your appointment time on purpose. And I've caught the other click and goes doing that as well. And what sucks about that is there's so Walmart, you have the Bentonville DC, right? But across the street is a brand new DC that is for Walmart.com. They're two separate deals, right? Well, the regular Walmart, you go in there and you could be an hour early, they'll take you, right? Well, that one, even though they had more room and less trailers and trucks over there, I showed up and what I thought was an hour early or half an hour early. And the guy's like, no, you can't be more than a half an hour early. And there was nowhere to park. I literally had to, and the guy's like, well, if you go down this narrow road through here and there's a church parking lot that you can probably park, trucks park there sometimes and I'm like, number one, I don't think the church parking lot is reinforced enough for trucks. So I'm not going to do that to them. Number two, church parking lots are notoriously big, but with narrow entrances. I'm not even dealing with that. And since the guy couldn't give me the real address and I didn't have time to kind of look it up on Google to see if it was even doable, I just said, screw it. So I went back on I-49, went to the Lowell exit where that Workman's Travel Center is, and then turned around and then came back, and it was right at the right time. And what was stressing me out was that the Convoy app said, you better not be late. And that was, so those tactics get kind of frustrating. Now, for a new person in the spot market, that's a frustrating experience. But once you get to know your customers and once you get to kind of know the game, it's a little bit easier, but it's still frustrating. It's part of the reality that we deal with. CDN says, yesterday, my one customer who sends out a bid, there were 9 of us brokers who posted the load. Do you think I secured the load at top right? No, you didn't. So you guys, look, CDN, I've acknowledged all the time that you guys have your competition, and you got people underbidding you, and you got people making promises in your world as well. So anyways, let's take a quick look at the weather. This won't be a long live stream. I know I say that in the past, but I've already explained. Jeff's got me watching a few things today. So there you go. There we go. We got some winter weather going up in Montana. Gee, what a surprise. And then up here in the mountains of Northern California. Then you got some freeze warnings in southern Arizona. So it's going to get nippy there, Scorpion. And then a little bit, quite a bit of Texas, southern and eastern Texas, I guess. It's going to be cold. And then a bunch of wind in the Midwest, but pretty much quiet for the most part, except if in the Northeast where you got some flood warning. Maine's all screwed up, so don't go to Maine. Maine kind of sucks. But this time of year, it's a beautiful place. But then you got a bunch of flood warnings, and what's the turquoise? Heavy freezing spray warning. No? Is that what's going on? Oh, man. We'll just click on the thing. Let's see what this color is all about. Lake effect snow. Wow, okay. See, the colors aren't very far from lake effect snow to flood watch, right? So it's very frustrating. But hey, life is frustrating. Get over it. And of course, air quality up here in Idaho and Oregon. So, all right, let's look at market conditions here. This is an email that's sent from me to me from my good friends over there in Canada, and we have the markets. This is a very interesting Hirschback hecklers. Oh, that's funny. Broker transparencies are a go. It's fun when you're too early and get turned away, but the broker's tracking stops because you arrived and left. Yes, that bothers me as well. And so that's why I'm good about sending the broker our actual ELD, and then the driver has to notify or your dispatcher and say, "Hey man, we were turned away. We got to go to the truck stop because there's no parking. Do not mark us as gone." But the macro points and the Project 44s will, which is kind of annoying. So if you need to get detention, that's where that gets stressful. So that's why I try to only do the loads that I know we're going to have detention with the brokers that actually pick up the phone and talk to us. Freight Waves, Greg Fuller made a great point yesterday on the state of freight. Broker transparency will put an advantage to the customer. Carriers sharpen your skills to bid on RFQ for lanes. That's a good point. Is there any way to predict heavy fog in PA, West Virginia? I haven't found any weather tools that can. No. Nope. No, I think fog is unpredictable. That's one of the dangers of it. Let's see. So, anyways, overall market is still soft, of course, but van is improving. This was almost down to the bottom, and then let's zoom this in here. And then reefer is loose. Reefer volumes are up, and then flatbed is definitely in the middle. So the needle's going up a little bit, right? The needle is going up, so that's a good thing. Let's see. DAT says that rates are at 209 a mile in December, over 202 a mile for van. And then for flatbed, it's 240 over 237, which that surprises me because I figured flatbed would be slowing down. But of course, there's a lot of the destruction that the hurricanes caused, and that's probably a contributor to that. And then you have reefers holding steady at 245, even though their volume's up a little bit. I want to scroll all the way down. There's all these sonar charts, which I'm not going to get into. Right now, where's the tender rejection rates for outbound van is 524. Index record low is 2.3. Those were some tough times, right? Flatbed outbound reject is 13.65%. And then reefer outbound is decreased to 14%. Let's see. Let's go back down here. All right. So this is good news. The domestic transportation market is showing signs of positive momentum as we approach 25. The Logistics Manager Index, LMI, for November recorded 58.4, indicating a consistent growth for the past 12 months. Inventory costs, warehousing prices remain elevated, of course, but consumer spending has risen, boosted by higher disposable incomes and strong retail showing during Cyber Week. These factors suggest sustained demand heading into the new year. Now, I'm going to disagree with some of this. Okay? Yes, they had a strong retail showing for this Christmas season. However, I don't know if it's disposable income. I don't have disposable income. I think it's from maxing out the credit cards, to be honest with you. People are over it. So they're just, I'm going to buy that thing I deserve, and I'm going to use my credit card to do it. Transportation price in LMI is also trending upwards. This reflects shippers preparing to a potentially higher capacity market in 2025. Tender rejections, a leading indicator of capacity tightening, have steadily increased from their lows in May 23, pointing to a gradual shift in favor of transportation providers. The outlook for transportation pricing over the next year demonstrates that rates are expected to continue climbing. Now, I was explaining that to a potential new contractor yesterday, that we're on an upward trend, which is good, right? So it's a slower recovery, but you know, with early contract renegotiations from shippers, rising demand and tightening capacity, the freight market is poised for stronger spot rates and greater carrier leverage in 25, signaling a long-awaited rebound for the industry. Industry participants should remain agile, leveraging these opportunities while preparing for any potential global trade disruptions and tariff uncertainties under the incoming U.S. administration. Now, that is true. The tariffs, what are they going to do? Number one. Number two, is global trade going to be disrupted due to war? Now, you see what's happening in Syria, you see what's happening in Russia and Ukraine. Is that going to affect freight? So just kind of keep that in mind. So keep your costs down, head on a swivel, and just, that way you can survive any market. So let's go to market rates here. Load availability. We'll bring that up here while we read some comments here. It's time for me to get a little more specialized or get out. That's a good method. Fuel is coming down. Good. I was talking to a driver yesterday. We were trying to go over the costs. Like, well, what's your fuel on this? What's fuel right now? I haven't even been paying attention to what fuel prices are. So, CN, can you book any load that your brokerage has, or do you only cover your own loads? CDN says, I agree, Steve. I believe retail spending will decline January, March 2025. Yes, I believe that as well. It's more credit card department debt, the storm before it calms back down. Yep. Tim Keller says Social Blade. I don't even know what that means. All right, so let's go to load availability. Let's put this on van. And then while we do that, let's look at DAT real quick. Oh, let me do this here real quick. Let me log in. You guys don't need to see my login info. All right. All right, so highest volumes are California. There's 2,100 going into Georgia, only 1,396 coming out. Illinois looks really good, of course. Iowa's not too bad. Iowa's 392 in, 763 out. Idaho has got 71 in and 276 out. Indiana looks good. Kansas got more out than in. That's good. Kentucky is good. Louisiana's not too bad, really. They're about even. Let's see. What's Missouri doing? 760 in, 1118 out. That's good. Mississippi is not good. Let's see. North Carolina's not great. New Jersey's got more out than in, but the rest of the Northeast states are different, so that softens that market. Let's see. Ohio is pretty good. PA is more out than in, so that's flipped. So it's going to be a little bit harder to get some good rates out of the Northeast, more than normal, I think. Then Wisconsin looks really good, and West Virginia and Wyoming. Well, look at Wyoming, 44 in and 221 out. That's interesting. So let's take a look at the 1, 2, 3 here. Now, don't take my word for it. If you want to try out the 1, 2, 3 low board 48065, use my code. You get it free for 30 days. You can try all these tools. If you're new to the spot market, this is kind of a great tool. I recommend having more than one low board. I have both the DAT and 123. I've used truck stop, but you know, I don't think truck stop has much more or anything different than what DAT has for van. If I was reefer or flatbed, that might be a different story. DIY says, "Good morning. Good morning, sir. The VW bus is back, $70,000. Isn't that stupid?" We got quite a few odd names in here. Tax time, file your refund quickly. Yep. So, all right. So let's do let's take a look at what's coming out of Wisconsin here. We got Beaver Dam to, let's see, Cheektowaga, New York. So you're going to go right by all that lake effect stuff. 176 above my cost per day, $2,400. Normal rate around here is between 18 and 24. Here lately, it's been at 16, 23,000 pounds. So how many miles is that? 700. So 2-day run for $2,400. If that's a legit 2-day run, you're good to go. Now, why do you say that, Steve? Well, this could be a multi-stop run, or it could be a drop trailer. There's nothing in the comments suggesting that, or it might just have to go. It's December 11th, so it's for today. Let's sort this by highest rate, posted rate. Wrightstown, Wisconsin to Haines City, Florida. 1,300 miles for 1,400 miles for $3,500. So they're paying really good to go into Florida. Why? Well, let's see. Because Florida's got 2,354 going in and only 509 coming out. So more likely you'll be deadheading out there. But if you're getting a good rate like this, it all kind of balances out on the end. Then you got Lewiston, Maine for $3,300 for 1,451. So all the highest paying stuffs go to Florida and the Northeast. But here's one going to Oregon for $1.70 a mile. That is not a very profitable blow because, like, let's click on this one, right? So even though it shows a profit of $550 a day versus my $358 a day of cost, the problem with this is that is not, like, I have to go into this cost calculator instead of tolls. I have to go to other fees and then do the mileage calculation because it costs per mile to go through Oregon. Just like Connecticut, you have to do those math, right? Those math. Man, English is hard. So now, if you're a fleet owner, it's up to you to do the paperwork for the driver. If they, let's say they want to go to Oregon, are you going to do the paperwork? Are you going to get the permit for them? Same thing with Connecticut. There's extra paperwork for the fleet owner. And here at Like Trucking, we don't, we don't like, you want a permit, we'll get it for you if we don't have it. So picking up a load, the PA this morning, looking at today's posted rates versus Friday. I think I'll wait till tomorrow afternoon or Friday morning to find another. Yes, you're going to see that. That's what I did a couple of shorts about that, and I talked about that on one of the live feeds. Shannon, good morning. All anything south of the northern border of Georgia, absolute disgusting joke. Shannon. You go down there and then you don't like the rates coming out. It's kind of funny. Light snow, Chicago and Omaha. Why is that, Shannon? Lots of alcohol needed in Florida the next 3 weeks. Who's hauling Christmas trees? I think Christmas trees are about done. Right? Washington State should be hot. SST, what's up? So, all right. So now let's look at the short haul stuff out of Wisconsin. Rate per mile. A bunch of 450s, 365. Now, $365 for 83 miles. If you can get 2 of those a day, that may not be too bad. Or 3 even, really. We got some drivers that use that strategy down in Georgia. One of our top contractors lives in Florida, Shannon, and does very well because he knows how to utilize the market. Kenosha, Wisconsin to Carrollton, Ohio. Shannon, if you are still having trouble finding a load out of Georgia, give me a call because I have a person that has something down there right now, right this minute. So they'll be in the office here in about 45 minutes. Here's a good load. Kenosha, Wisconsin to Carrollton, Ohio. 1485 for 471 miles. That is way above my cost per mile or cost per day. So that's good. 18,000 pounds. Picks up today. We definitely would want to call, see if there's anything to it. But Cargo Chief's got this at 1244. They're above that. So this is probably going to move. And 1 day run for $1,400. That's a good deal right there for van. 825, another profitable load. Oh, that load just disappeared. 1100 to go from Wisconsin to Grand Rapids, Michigan. Let's see if they're taking you over the lake here on the mapping. You have to be careful of that. Nope, they're having to go around. So that could be. I know this run. I've done this run before. Who's the broker on this? Absorbent pads. Who's the broker on this? Worldwide. Yeah, I've done this load. So that's a good run. Of course, you got to look in the Michigan outbound, right? So you go down here and see 255 loads coming out of Grand Rapids area. So that's a good load, a good spot to land on a Thursday. Oh, wait, this picks up Friday. Is that Friday? No, it picks up Monday. Picks up Monday, delivers probably the next day. Other than the Chicago traffic, it's a pretty easy run. All right, so Wisconsin looks pretty good. I don't understand Shannon. She's from a great area, but comes down here to haul our trash. Welcome to the South. Now go home. Christmas shopping is finished already. Are you talking about me personally or just in general? We just went over the how everybody's like spending money on the retail. And all that red can't be van. It is van. That's out west. It's always red out west. Let's see. Let's take a look at Georgia. Let's take a look at what Shannon's fighting here, shall we? Let's sort this by highest rate per mile. You get $5 a mile to go to Alabama. Oh wait, we count our deal by the day. So let's scroll down here. Here we go, 1,400 to go from Macon, Georgia to Lakeland, Florida. Then what you do is you deadhead right back up, 373 miles. So you're still getting over $2 a mile. Let's talk about this load for a second. Let's click on this. It picks up today. Let's say you pick this up at 9 a.m. Delivers tomorrow at 9 a.m. Okay, 373 miles. Go ahead and book another one that picks up at 9 a.m. the next day. Or maybe it picks up later. Right? So yeah, you're doing a lot of deadhead, but you could easily make an average of $800 a day going back and forth, one direction. Unless you can find something, to come back up, which that's going to be cheap, but it pays for fuel, right? Just a matter if you want to deal with the time or not. But if you can string 2 or 3 or 4 of these together, you're not putting. I mean, it's kind of what our guy does, man. He strings this together and he's doing well with it. Same thing with this one, Lithonia, Georgia, to Dade City, Florida. Now this is a little bit more, 432 miles, but $1,500. Now these ones for $600 going into Alabama, that's not a good deal. I would not do that. McDonough to Orlando. A lot of these are beverage loads. But the minute you want to go, like here's Athens, Georgia to Athens, Tennessee, 650 or 550, 331 miles. Let's look at this one. Picks up at 4 o'clock today, delivers at 8 a.m. tomorrow. How many miles? 166. So a pretty easy run. So if you got that $1,400 load and then to go back up north, you grab this, that's still not bad. It's just on how you handle it, right? And according to my costs, this is still a profitable load. Yeah, does it suck? Yeah, $550 for one day, but then you got the $1,400 load. You got $1,400 for one day, so you balance it out. Chief Freight says Friday the 13th of December, the nightmare before Christmas. Hirschback says, I saw a boat on a flatbed yesterday. It was larger than the semi-truck. Nice. Yeah, that guy was making some money. Iron Maiden drummer retires. Massive bummer. Yes. He retires from touring. I think he'll still do studio work. So, lots of Van Halen. Unreleased Van Halen coming out. Which era? Grab a 300 to 500 load, going right back at the Macon and just run back and forth. That's what our guy does. And if you can't find nothing, yeah, the trolls are up. I think I knew who that is, but but they're being harmless. So, and they're talking about metal and Iron Maiden, so that's good. That's a good thing to do. Let's see. So, your highest rate per mile is going to be going back down to Florida. Now let's go the highest rate, see where all the long haul stuff's going. This is where you're going to see the $1.20s, $1.30s, $1.58 to go to Oregon. That's actually not bad coming out of Atlanta. To go all the way to Oregon. I know people like, what do you mean? You can't survive off that. That's true. But normally we're seeing $1.30 or $1.20 to go out west. Here's 203 a mile to go to Maine. Of course, that's northeast. Grovetown to Swanton, Vermont. Check this load out. This is a multi-stop load. Yep, lawn equipment. These are tractors. Now, needs to be up a little bit for the multiple stops. So you're going to want to call on this and say, how many stops are there? And then act accordingly. Now, when the Atlanta market is elevated, volume-wise, you get more money for these tractor loads. If it's not, if it's looking like it is now, volume-wise, then they're still going to be lower than something you might get out of Ohio. But Ted Templeman studio outtakes and Alex's 5150 material. Cool. For the Phonehead, for the record, that's not me. Oh, maybe I don't know who it is then. Never enough. My company is letting another flatbed company haul our freight. We are about 750 trucks. They are about 250. What's your thoughts? Is that normal? So let me tell you what might be going on. I don't know what's going on exactly. So I used to drive for Transland, right? And we're a dry van company. And one day I go to the yard and there's all these what was the name of the company? They're right down the road from here. They're a reefer company. It wasn't Prime. It wasn't ONS at the time. That's how far back this was. But there's like a bunch of them. And so I went up to my dispatch. So is this company buying us out? I made a joke, and they're like, no, we have a bunch of cross docking of brokered freight that needs to go out to California. And since we don't have any customers out there and we don't want to deal with the spot freight out there, it's just better for us to broker it out and cross dock it here. It was to serve a customer that they had in Springfield, but they were brokering it out and cross docking it and letting this other carrier take it because they need to go out to California to grab produce to come out. So you might have a situation like that. Does your company, they might not have enough trucks to cover these certain lanes, or there might just not be any outbound freight for them, so it's just more cost effective to put it on another carrier. So, that happens a lot. One time I picked up a load of ramen out of Pennsylvania from another trucking company. And what it was, and it was going right to Springfield. So what it was that trucking company didn't go west of the Mississippi. So they're like, we don't even go west of Pennsylvania. They run primarily northeast. You're just listening, playing a game on my phone. I seen $1.06 team load to Georgia to Cali the other day, right? Van Halen gated their studio sound. That's why they created 5150. I always thought Van Halen's studio album sounded excellent. I agree with that. CN, time to book a load and then go shovel snow. Have a great day. All right, CN, thanks for coming in. We appreciate you. Nothing beats great comedy to get your morning moving. That's true. Haven't shoveled snow since the 1980s. Right? So, anyways, let's go to the hot market map for the other platforms here, and then I got to go. Reefer's kind of peppered all over the West here. You got Colorado and Idaho with elevated volumes. And, of course, Idaho looks good on both van and reefer more than normal. So imagine that's food related. Then, of course, you got the normal states here up in the upper Midwest. And then Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia are showing green. But your rates are going to be, just because it's green doesn't mean you're going to get good rates. Just means a little bit easier to find a load. So you could be hung up on more times from a broker than you normally would be. Now let's go to flatbed and step deck. South Dakota lighting up. Oh, there's 199 outbound loads. Let's take a look at that real quick. See what the highest rate per mile is. I bet you it's all going to Montana, Wyoming, which are showing yellow, by the way. Colorado, right? $800 to go to North Dakota from South Dakota. Looks like there's a lane, Rapid City to Stanley, going back and forth, 379 miles. Spearfish to Fort Collins, Colorado. So you're going to deal with some weather out on these loads, which is probably why the rates are a little bit elevated. But then North Dakota's red, so that's probably why there's a good rate. But then Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, and Colorado are yellow, so that's good. So, all right, so that's it. Let's see. Let's go back to CFH says our snow is melted. Got plenty of time in current load sending out the snowstorm with Snorelord's coffee. There you go. Man, if you bought Snorelord's coffee, that bag's pretty old because I haven't sold any of that in a while. In fact, the website's gone now. Sage took it down. So, We are the household carrier at 5 of the plants that we had that we haul out of. They haul out of our plants too. It just doesn't seem right. It's weird, but it's normal. So there could be a multitude of reasons. Seen a lot of mega carrier trailers being pulled by independent carriers lately. A lot of strategies changing to meet the market conditions. Right. So Snyder, Werner, Swift, JB Hunt, a lot of the power only things are going pretty strong. Even Prime is a power only program. And you're going to start, hell, even Landstar had that. So yeah, you're going to see that because trailers are expensive and they would rather get in somebody's pool of freight than deal with the spot market stuff that's going on. But either way, we got 45 people in here. Make sure you hit the thumbs up on the way out. Hit it twice if you don't like me or like my video. So that will teach me a lesson. So with that being said, strength for today or for tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be live on Friday. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Peace.